So our training is going to be there completely on Eclipse tool, and provided based on that we will be having a foundation session on object oriented programming so that we can understand the core concept of it. Then we'll move towards the OData services to develop the APIs that can be consumed in Fiori applications for making it a full stack application. Then we shall be learning on the multiple concepts of ABAP on HANA like CDS, AMDPs, their use cases and all. We shall also be taking a real life scenario based on a project use case, and we will try to implement it so that we can check the performance that will help us in our day-to-day projects that is we are going to face in the companies. So before we start, I would like to have here a basic introduction about a SAP application system. Yes, SAP software. So what is the purpose of using any SAP software here? It is an ERP tool, correct? ERP software, and is used to manage the business of the company, correct or not? Right? It is used to manage the business of the company so that the profit of the company can be maximized. Correct? This is the purpose. Why do we use anything? Why a company is hiring you? So that you can do projects for them. You can deliver application to their client. Ultimately, they can make more profit on it. Yes or no? Right? So it is an ERP software and is used to manage the business of the company so that the company can maximize its profit. Yes, right. Now, how it manages the business? So it looks after all the departments of the company under one umbrella or one software where it has various modules here. Yes, it has various modules, and all these modules are handled by the SAP consultants. Correct? Correct, Meenakshi? Yes or no? Right? So what is the purpose of we as a ABAP developer here? As a ABAP developer, our purpose varies here. We are supposed to do many things. We are supposed to develop end-to-end applications on SAP GUI. Maybe it can be a normal, I should say, ALV based application. Yes, that is what we are supposed to do. Second thing can be we are supposed to understand the business process of the client and develop APIs or applications based on their needs. Based on their needs. This is what we are supposed to do. Third point we can say here is understand the standard or customize existing applications. Yes. And debug them to resolve the queries. Yes. Or I should say enhance their capabilities also. Capabilities. Yes. Correct or not? Yeah. Also develop the apps, or I should say okay. So one thing can be develop end-to-end application, and then there can be a brownfield implementation here. If any existing application is there, so reuse the previous existing code like BAPIs or RFCs, or use old APIs to develop a application. That can also be one of our purpose. So as a coder, as a programmer, we are supposed to play with the application, develop the application based on the client use cases. Yes, yeah, right. So we will move towards the ABAP on HANA, but before, the foundation part is very, very important for us, which we generally call as object-oriented programming here. Oops, ABAP. Yes. Hello, Chetan. Good evening. What can you define here the concept of object-oriented programming? Chetan, I can't hear you. Mic issue? Okay. All right. Mm, yes, Sunny. What is object-oriented programming?
Uh, as I don't know, I mean, I'm the new to joining. So,
Any programming background experience you have? Any other programming?
no, Amrita, I don't have actually.
Okay. All right, no problem. You just go through the first things and connect with me if any issue you are facing. Okay?
Sure, sure, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, Kunal. What is object-oriented programming? No? Okay, no issue. All right, guys. So, OOPS stands for Object-Oriented Programming System. First thing, Oriented Programming System. Yeah. Yes. Object-Oriented Programming System. Yeah. Why do I need object-oriented programming? OOPS is used to create user-defined data types. Defined data types, yes, based on the user choice and user requirement. What do I mean by user-defined data types here? What do I mean by user-defined data types here? Understand the situation. Generally, if we talk about the data type that we see in our normal GUI-based ABAP programming, we have either elementary data types. Yeah, we have elementary data types like characters, integers, floating point numbers, decimals and all. Yeah, packed decimals. Or we have some complex data types that we create, like we have structures, we have internal tables. Yes. So for the creating the internal table, we generally use the table types where we can have multiple records. Yeah. So these are the basic kind of types that we have in generally in ABAP programming. But every time our things cannot be satisfied with them. Yes. Sometime our requirement can be very complex, which will not be able to justify under this. That's why object-oriented programming has become essential in the current market world for any programming language, whether it is Java programming, whether it is Python programming. Python is a completely object-oriented programming language. So if I'm talking about any other, let's say JavaScript is also a object-oriented programming language. So any programming language that you are seeing which are high in demand in the current market world, they are definitely a object-oriented programming language. Similarly, our ABAP also follows the concept of object-oriented programming. Now, how we are going to define? First line can be used to create user-defined data types. Second line that we can give is OOPS. OOPS programming or OOPS is based on two things. Yes, OOPS is based on two things. First can be a class and second can be a object. Yes, first can be a class and second can be a object here. Yes, yeah. So the same thing you are going to see here. What is a class? Yes, class is a blueprint. Yes, class is a blueprint or design or template. Yeah, class is a blueprint or design or template. Very simple example. Suppose I wanted to build a house for my family. I want to build a house for my family in Noida. So I went to a builder. I bought a land from a owner who was there. So now I want to build a let's say 2 BHK flat over there. How I will build? I will go to a builder. Yes, I will connect a builder. And so this Amrit, let's say this Amrit has connected to a builder and he said, I want to build a house for my family. So what this builder is going to do, he will create a design for us, correct or not? Yes, he will create a design for us, right?
Yes.
This design is going to work like a template for us. I will approve. Now this builder will show this design to Mr. Amrit that this is the design. I will say, okay, I want some extra functionality. I want to hello, was there any issue, guys?
No, sir.
Okay, okay. Please do mute yourself. If any query is there, then definitely ask. Okay. Whenever I'm asking any question, please do reply so that I can understand you are listening properly. Here I'm talking about classes. So what does it means here? Amrit wants to build a house for him. He went to a builder. Builder showed a design to him. He said, no, I don't want it. I want some customization. So this guy Amrit has suggested a customization to the builder. Now builder what he did? Okay, he said, all right, I am adding some more functionality. I'm adding some more functionality here. Okay, some more behavior and functionality here. Now he said, okay, it's fine. So now we will create our house. Create our house. He will start designing. He will bring the labors and all the materials that are needed. Will be I will purchase them and then he is going to build the house for me. Correct. So it is a design. Yes. Now tell me, is this design a physical entity? Very first question. Is this design a physical entity?
No, sir.
No. It is a template. It is a design. It is a blueprint. It is not a physical entity. Just like a design. Say I just open this Chrome browser and I went and say, give me a design for 3 BHK flat. Okay. I'm just asking to him. So I'll go with the AI mode. And I'm asking, okay, see here, so many designs. Is this there? Are they physical entity? No, they are logical. They are virtually present here. They are not taking any space in the real world. Correct? Are they existing in any real world? No. Yes. Right? Correct or not? So this is it is not a physical entity. Who is going to be the physical entity? Object. Object is an instance of the class. Class. This is the physical entity in the real world. Yes, in the real world, which takes some space. Yes, it takes some space. Every object is unique in nature, unique in nature, and they can have their own properties and behaviors. Yes, every object is unique in nature and they can have their own properties and behavior. Just give me 1 second, guys. 1 second. So every object is unique in nature and they can have their own properties and behavior. Just like we are the object of the human class. Similarly here also. So in the design, what we do? So this is a design. We will be defining the properties. Class will have two major things. Major things. First will be the properties, which in object-oriented programming concept we call it as attributes. And the second one will be the behavior. Yes, behavior. So the object of the behavior, yes, every object is unique in nature. Every human being is unique in nature. Just like my behavior can be different on certain matter, your behavior can be different on a certain matter. So here logic will be written. Yes, logic will be written, and that logic will return certain result. That's what we call as methods. That's what we call as methods in object-oriented programming. So class is dependent on two things, properties and behavior. Oops is dependent on is mainly consist of two major things here, classes and object. Class is just like a blueprint. You can call it as a, what you can call it here, class. You can call it a class is a used for to create user defined data types, to create user defined data types. And based on these data types, we shall be creating our objects. Yes, we will be creating our objects. And these objects are the real life existing entities which will exist in the real world. And based on that, they are going to function. Is it clear? Yes, all of you, is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So let's talk about our SAP system. Yes, let's talk about our SAP system. I'll simply open SAP system here and let's go and check there. I'll log in. So where we are going to create classes. Now how we are creating a classes here, how classes are created, how classes are created and maintained. So how classes are created, let's see here. So we can categorize the classes majorly in two types. Yes, we can categorize the classes in mainly two types. Yes, majorly in two types basically. And these classes can be either local class or global class. Second, local class. Yes, global and no local. What do I mean by global? Something which is global in nature. Yes. So a global class is a class which is defined globally. Yes, globally. Globally here. Yeah, globally from the global class pool in SE24 transaction code. First important T code comes into picture here for the object-oriented programming. Global class pool from SE24 transaction code. Yes. Yeah. They are reusable in nature. In nature. And we can reuse them from anywhere in the SAP system. Yes. Unlike the global classes, local classes are completely different. So unlike the global classes, what I can say here is local classes are defined within the scope of a ABAP program and it is non-reusable in nature. It can only be used from the program, from the same program. Yes. Global and local class, a design we are going to create. Based on this design, we will be creating our objects. Those objects will have all those features, all those properties and behavior, attributes and methods that you are defining in these designs, in these classes, in these templates, and you will be able to use them there. So here, let's say I'm going to SE24. Yes, class builder section. I'm going to SE24 here in the class builder section. And as we know in the SAP system, if I'm creating any classes or any database object, every name will always start with Z or Y. So I will be creating here my very first class, GCL first ABAP class. Yes, I'm creating here. Create my first global class. Yeah. Now if you check here, class type. So this global class is also of 4 types. Normal ABAP class, exception class we are explicitly defining for the global exceptions that we can define and we can use them. A persistent class, there is also one, and then there is a test class. So this can also be an interview question here. Global classes can be categorized here, can be categorized into 4 categories. Yes, first one is our usual ABAP class. Second one can be our exception class. Third one can be our persistence class. Yes, and the fourth one can be our unit test class. Yes, usual ABAP class, exception class, persistence class, and unit test class. So this is the major global class in class which is more often created. Normally we create this only. Yeah. If I talk about exception class, we create this class to define custom exceptions globally. Yes, globally, which we can reuse from anywhere. Yeah. Then I have the persistence class. So this is mainly for performing the, I should say, performing the CRUD operations on the database. And finally, the last one here, which is unit test class. So this is mostly created, or this is for testing a individual unit of code. I should say a individual unit of code, units of code separately is of either a function module or methods or any part of the program, and it can be anything. So we can categorize them into 4 parts as usual ABAP, exception, persistence, and unit test class. I am going with the usual ABAP class and I will click on the save button. I will give my package. Yes, I'll give my package. If you don't have the package, you can create it from SE21, and you can also create your transport request from SE09. Let's create it. We will be using it for our training purpose here. So I'll have my development request workbench, and I'm giving here $730. Yes, this request we can use. I'm going to use this, and I'll create my package here, SE21 and Z ABAP evening training as for HANA. Create it. ABAP on HANA training. Yeah. And I'll pass my request by clicking on yes. There is my TR and OK. So this package I can use. I'll copy, Control A, Control C, and get back, and let's create it. Okay, so my first global class, enter, pass the package and request. So the moment you will go for creation of a global class, you will see these 7 important tabs. Properties section, properties of the class. Yes, it will show all the attributes and feature of your class that you have created, like the generic information, like description, instance generation, whether it is allowed or not. Yes, type of class here. Yeah, see all the categories here, package, language, everything is there. Interface section. So we can define our interfaces in this section, which we will be discussing in later on. Yeah. We will have the friends, attributes, methods, events, types, and aliases. Yes. All these things are available here. And all these sections we will have our different things. Very first thing that we have is the attribute section here. As discussed, the major properties of a class are two things: properties and behavior, which is attributes and methods. So attribute, what is a attribute here? So a attribute, yes, a attribute is used to store values, a kind of variable which is used to store some values. Yes, you can see here. For example, I'm defining my first attribute, first attribute. Yes, yeah. Now what is the label of it? Click on it and check. So 3 level of attribute you can see. First one is instance attribute, second one is static attribute, and the third one is constant. Constant is a fixed value, we cannot modify it. So if you want to create a attribute, a variable where you want to fix a value, you can go with the constant one. Now what is this? Instance and static. These two are again important. So here I'm writing for us. I will say, yes, yeah, here. Static is the class property, is the class property. And instance is the object property, is the object property. Static is the class property and instance is the object property. Yes. A attribute can be of three types. Three types. First one is our instance attribute, or I will say static attribute. Second one is instance attribute. And the third one we have is the constant attribute. Yes. Yeah. So here, if I talk about the static one, static attributes are attributes whose, yeah, who can be accessed from the class name also. They have the class level access. So class name also, and also from the objects. From the objects. There is only one space. Yes, there is only one space defined for them in the memory. And it is shared among all the objects. Among all the objects. There is only one space defined for them in the memory and it is shared among all other objects. Yes. They can be accessed from the class name and also from the object name. Meanwhile, instance attribute can only be accessed from the objects. From the objects. Yes. can only be accessed from the objects. Yeah. Every object, so for each and every object, a separate memory will be allocated. Memory will be allocated here. And why it is? Because object Amrit have its own existence, correct? There is a possibility, like you see, some people have two hands, some people have only one hand because of some issue. Let's say someone lost his one of his hand. Yeah. So each object have its own properties, correct? So that's why you are seeing here, for each and every object, a separate memory will be allocated and they will not be shared among them. But instance is a here static level access is there. So memory is allocated only once and they will be shared among all other objects also. Okay. So let me explain you. I'm going with the static one. Visibility, suppose I'm giving here public for now. Click on it. I'm giving here public visibility. Type I'm giving as instance here. Type I'm giving as integer. And here I'm giving a description static attribute. Yeah. I will go with the second one. So second attribute here. And this time I'll make it as an instance attribute. Yes. I'll go with the visibility as public. Type again I'm giving as integer. And description I'm giving as instance attribute. Yeah. If you want to give some initial value also, some initial value to them, you can give. So suppose I'm giving 100 for the static and 200 for the instance. These initial values I'm giving here. Now I will click on activate button. Yes, I clicked on activate button. My object got activated. Okay. Click on execute here and check the hit. You see here, by default from the class name, as I can see, my first attribute, it is showing the value is 100, but it is not showing my instance attribute. By default it is saying not instantiated. We have not created the object yet. Yes. So let's go and create a ABAP program and let's check it from there. My usual ABAP class. So my ABAP first class. So ABAP first class. I'll take the type as executable, pass the package and request. Yes. So I want to display it. I'm going for the write statement and let's say I'm giving here calling static attribute. Yes, calling the static attribute. I'll come here to my system and there got my class name. So class name, paste it. As I can see, the definition says that static attributes can be accessed from the class name and also from the object names. So let's try to access it. This is the static symbol here. Yes, this is the static, the double arrow is the static symbol. Now press Ctrl plus space. You can see automatically if any static property is there, system will suggest. As I can see, first attribute, I am able to access it. I can check for error, Ctrl F2. There is no error. Now I'll simply click on activate and let's check. Yes, its value is being displayed. I'm getting the 100 value here. Yeah, I'm getting the 100 value. But what if I will try to go with the instance attribute from the class name? Instance attribute. I will go follow the same thing. My class name. Yes. And let's try to access this object here, instance attribute here that we created. I'll paste down the name and check for it. What it is saying. Class attribute can only specified with the static attribute. Yes. And if I use here the instance symbol, single arrow is the instance symbol. Single arrow is the instance symbol here. So now check this one. You see, class is unknown. Instance attribute cannot be accessed by using the class names. So I am commenting it out. I'll have to first create the object. So how we will be creating object here? Creating objects. So my data keyword I will use object name. So I'm giving a local object here. Yes. Or data keyword local object is equal to new our class name. Sorry, class name. So I am creating my very first object here and then opening and closing parenthesis with one space in between. This is my very first object that I have created. Yes. This is my very first object that I have created. This is my very first object. Now using this object, if I try to access, let's see this. So local object 1 and I will access my here instance attribute. I'll activate. I'll check if there is any problem. You see, no problem. I'm getting it. I can use it for accessing my static attribute also. So first attribute. I will click on activate button and now we can check. There you see, still working, no problem. Yeah. So my objects can access both the static and the instances, no problem. Yeah, we are able to access them. Another definition, what it is says, there is only one space defined for the static. So let me explain this. Here, suppose I'm increasing here local object 1 and my secondary attribute is there. So plus is equal to 100. Okay. Or let's say plus is equal to 900 I'm giving. And now I'm trying to print out the local object 1 secondary attribute. Yes. Yes. So I will also give after changing value. A text I am printing after changing value is equal to yes, after changing value is equal to, I'll click on activate and check it. See, value got modified 200 plus 900, it has become 1100. Correct. Now if I create another object, so I'm creating another object for our class, creating another object. So another object. I'm coming here and I'm creating another object. Local object 2 this time is equal to new keyword and my class name and this one. So let's try to print out the secondary attribute for this object, object 2 and secondary attribute. So instance attribute using second object is equal to, yes, I'm printing out the instance attribute by using the second object now. Let's go and check. I'll activate it and you check. What is the value here? What is the value here? What is the value here?
200.
200.
Initial value.
Its initial value. Though we modified it, but this modification is not reflecting the other. Why it is not reflecting? It is an instance. For each and every object, a separate memory will be allocated for them. Yes. But, what if I just do one thing here? So now I am modifying here local object 1 and I'm going for my first attribute, which is my static one, plus equal to 45, and I am just printing it down, let's say static attribute from first object, yes, from first object, so is equal to my local object hello underscore obj1 and my first attribute, right? And the same thing I'm going to just print out by using the second object. Let's see how what value we are going to get there. So from second object, and here object 2 will be there, correct? Object 2 will be there now. So now I'll click on activate and let's execute it and check the output. So second attribute from the first object is 145, and sorry, static attribute from the first object is 145, and static attribute from the second object is still 145. Is it or not? Yes. Is it or not?
Yes, sir.
Correct. So single memory is there where it is being shared among all the objects. So sometime in your working projects, maybe you need, you are required to create a variables or any things that you want to share among other objects or all the objects that you are going to create. Yes. So in that case, you can simply use this thing that will help you. Clear? Yeah. Right. All right. Okay. Okay. So this is my here global class. What if I want to create, what is happening here? 1 second. Yeah, my keyboard is not working. Oh, sorry. All right, now it is working fine. Okay, so what if I want to go with the local classes for the same thing? How I will be creating a local class? So creating a local class. You can take the reference from your global class also, how it has been created behind the scene. You can click on the source code. Yes, and you can see here. We have a class definition and we have a class implementation. Yes, class definition and class implementation. Same thing we can do here in this case also, a very basic one, class, my first, or I should say local class definition and end class, yes, end class, and then we shall have the implementation also. Since I don't have created any methods, as you can see, it is also empty. There is no need for it, so I'm not defining it right now. But okay, let's define it so that we can use it for our reference later on. End class. Under the class, we define the section here: public section, protected section, yes, and private section. Private properties of the class, private behaviors of the class, yes, protected properties of the class, protected behavior of the class, public properties of the class, and public behavior of the class. Yes, yeah. So same thing I will do here also. I will first define my static attribute. Yes. So how a static attribute is defined? Another line I can say, class data keyword is used to define the static attributes, and for this I can say data keyword is used to define the instance attributes. Instance attributes. Same thing you can do here also. I'll come down here and class data, and I should say first, what was the name for this? First attribute 1. I will just give the same attribute first underscore attribute underscore 1, type integer, and I'm giving an initial value as 100. Yes, I'm giving here initial value as 100. Yeah, and then I can give here a instance attribute. So I'll define here a instance attribute for us, data keyword, and my second attribute 2, type integer, and value I can give here as 200. Yes, value I can give here as 200 now. So I'm just going to comment this out. Yes, and I'll bring this copy and I'll comment it and I'll bring it down here. So startup selection, under it I'm just putting it down. All these things, creating object and their use cases. So now for our here the class, and we'll be creating the object. So this is the class name, local class. I'll copy this local class and I'll replace it. You see, I'm just going to replace this for the creation of our first object, and for the creation of our second object I'll simply do the replacement. Yes, I'll simply do the replacement here. Now I shall click on the activate button and I'll click on the execute button. There you see, after changing value it has become 11000 here. Instance attribute using the second object, you see, still the same. Yeah, if it is static attribute, all the changes are being modified and it will be reflecting among all the objects. It doesn't matter whether it is a local class or global class, it will work in the same way. The only major difference is this is global class. It is being defined under the global class pool from SE24 transaction code, reusable in nature. We can reuse it on other places also. Meanwhile, local class are defined under the scope of the ABAP system, under the scope of the program. So it is not reusable outside of the program, but we can reuse it inside it. Yes, just we are using it like this way. I created the objects and I'm using its features. Yeah, I created the objects and I'm using its features. Correct or not? Yes. Is that clear, all of you? Is that clear, all of you?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.